Hey, so here we have it, another pair of Jabra earbuds. And whenever I come back to Jabra earbuds, there's always a sense of like, oh yeah, like Jabra knows what's important. Like you can nitpick about which earbuds have better ANC or better audio quality, but there's never a deal breaker with Jabra earbuds. They're so easy to recommend because they nail the fundamentals pretty much like nobody else does. And these are the brand new Jabra Elite 10s, their latest flagship pair of earbuds after a little hiatus. Like we haven't seen a flagship pair from Jabra in a couple years. So I've been testing these for the past 2 weeks and I have to say, they definitely did it again. There's great comfort, they have wireless charging of course, they have multipoint connectivity, they have physical buttons that I really do like and I'll talk about that in a minute, and they have a unique Jabra design that again is just solid. It's good, it's easy to recommend. So these come in 5 different colors. This one's the cocoa color. I personally really like it. It's exclusive to some places, like you can't buy it everywhere, so I'll link it below where you can buy it, but even other places that only have 4 colors, like that's still way more than most other earbuds, which either come in white or maybe white and black. So the color options, I'm a big fan of that. And the case is pretty classic for Jabra. It's not the tiniest one out there, but it's pretty slim in all dimensions. It has wireless charging, charges by USB-C on the bottom as well. It doesn't sit upright like the old ones did, so it's gonna lay more like AirPods kind of do. And it has like a nice plastic, like matte, rubbery kind of look to it. I think it looks good, it feels very nice. And when you open it up, you have kind of a rubber wells where the earbuds go. Obviously they sit in there magnetically, and the magnet is like, it's not the strongest, but it's good enough. The rubber, like the open design there, makes them easier to clean than other earbuds that have really deep wells. And this is IP54 water resistant for the case, and the earbuds are IP57. And when you look at them, they have even more of like a rubbery coating. Jabra said they scanned like 40,000 or 50, I don't know, thousands and thousands of ears to find the perfect geometry. I'm super skeptical of that, but I have to say, earbuds usually don't sit in my left ear very well, and these, they do. They stay in really well, they're really comfortable. So, I mean, as much as I want to be a skeptic of the scanned 50,000 ears thing or whatever, I don't know, maybe it's right. Like they work for my ears. Additionally, we have a proximity sensor on the inside, so they do have autoplay and auto pause. They have that physical button on the outside, which if you've seen any of my content about Jabra earbuds or other earbuds for that matter that don't have this, I always talk about it. Like it's a nice feature to have. A lot of earbuds have a capacitive touch sensor, which it works, but the physical button has some advantages. So for one, if your hands are wet, it works. 2, if you're wearing gloves, it works. And 3, you don't have accidental touches if you're adjusting the earbud. So grabbing the outside, like you know where the button is and you know where the button is not. So it's easy to adjust these without pausing your music. And unlike most other buttons out there, like nobody else seems to be able to do it as well as Jabra does, where it doesn't, like you don't push really hard, there's no really loud click, just a subtle little gentle, it's really the perfect tactile button. You'll also see they have 3 microphones around the outside. We'll get into a test of the microphones in just a second, but just kind of the general aesthetic here, I think Jabra did a really good job of making these look more premium with that kind of brass or bronze look on the outside, the accent on the button. I think these look nice. Flipping over to the inside of the earbud, you can see it's a different shape. It's more of an oval. We saw this previously from Jabra as well, but the intent here is to give you less pressure when you have active noise cancellation. So it's like a semi-open hybrid feel in your ears. It still like closes, but it's not like a really closed off feeling that some people really hate. But the compromise with that is that you're not getting the same level of passive noise blocking. I did do some really in-depth testing for the active noise cancellation and the passive noise blocking. I'll share those results in just a second, but let's kind of get back to what I was saying about the microphones and actually get into a microphone test.
All right, so test number 1, indoors in a studio environment. It's probably going to be as easy as it possibly gets for these earbuds, but let me know how this sounds. By the way, this is using side tone right now, so when you're on a phone call, I can hear myself talk. This sounds a tad more robotic than Hear Through does, so for some reason it is slightly different, but regardless, I can hear myself talk, and hopefully this does a pretty decent job. Let's go outside and see what it sounds like in a louder environment. All right, so now I'm outside by a pretty busy road. It's a little bit breezy out here. Let me know how this sounds. Sorry, it's so bright, you can barely even see me. But again, microphone test outside. Let me know what you think of these.
So even though these are a pretty compact size, they have 6 hours of battery life in the earbuds and 27 hours when you include the case. My first thought was it's probably not with ANC. It actually is with active noise cancellation on. Without it, you're getting up to 36 total hours. And then if you want to recharge, just 5 minutes gives you an hour of listening. So as far as battery is concerned, these are going to be pretty solid for travel or workday or pretty much anything. They also have Bluetooth 5.3. Good to see the new standard. And they do have mono mode as well as, which I've been saying quite a bit in this video, they have multi-point connectivity, which I think is so important to be able to connect to like my Android phone and my MacBook and just seamlessly switch between them. It's just, Jabra's been doing it for years. Most other earbuds are barely adopting it now, but it is by far the best feature on a pair of earbuds, in my opinion. Now, the active noise canceling on these earbuds, Jabra brands their ANC by like different models. So these have the advanced ANC, which is like their flagship one. The actives have like one tier below that. Doesn't really matter what they call it. The point is, the ANC in here, it's like, it's good. It's not number one, but like it's good enough. I've been working like right here and there's been construction outside all morning. It completely blocked the construction out. So I usually do several different tests for the active noise cancellation on earbuds and I compare all of them. So you can see on this chart right here, this is my white noise test against the lower frequencies, the sound of a jet to be specific. And then here it is looking at crowd sounds, which as I said, this struggles a little bit more with passive noise blocking. And even more than that, if you go to higher pitch sound, so higher voices, trying to block those out, it does struggle a bit more with this, but it still does a pretty decent job. As far as blocking wind out, I don't have a good way to quantify this just yet. I'm working on that. It's going to be in future videos, but this does a good job. Like if you have a lot of wind, it doesn't really replicate much of that in your ears with active noise cancellation. But if you switch over to the hear-through mode, they have side tone and hear-through. I'll explain the difference in those in a second, but you do get some wind there as well. Hear-through is the transparency mode with these, being able to hear your surroundings. And to summarize that, it's always improving. It's still a little bit muffled, and there is some white noise as well. It's not robotic, and it's definitely decent, but it's not quite number one out there. It's not competing with the Bose and the AirPods, but it still works if you're listening to music and need to hear your surroundings. It just ties into Jabra, just kind of nails the fundamentals. There's nothing like super exceptional about these earbuds as far as like ANC or hear through or sound quality, but they nail the fundamentals. And that kind of leads me into sound quality. This is my first major complaint with these. Being in the premium category, I would say solidly in the premium category, they still only have just SBC and AAC codecs. There may be a firmware update with better codecs later, but we're not getting high resolution codecs right now, which I think is a big miss here. If you want to have the more premium audience, you need to have the better audio resolution on these. The sound quality though, like these have 10mm drivers. They're definitely very capable with bass. You can EQ them in the app, and I'll show you the app in a minute, but like across the board, it's a good sound, it's solid, it definitely is very passable, but it doesn't give you like that crisp, detailed sound you can get from some of the aptX adaptive or LDAC codecs out there. So far, these might seem a lot like the Jabra Elite 7s, but there are some features that should differentiate these from the previous models as well as from other earbuds on the market. One of them is Dolby head tracking, a big one that they're advertising a lot this year. I don't know, this is what every earbud company is coming out with this year. It's head tracking, spatial audio, whatever you want to call it. You can look around and like it sounds like the music's staying in one place. I personally hate this feature. I never use it. I keep it disabled, but like, do you use it? Do other people use it? People must use this, right? Like it's on every pair of earbuds this year. Maybe people use it for like movies or something or music. I don't know. Regardless, these also have, as I said, autoplay and auto pause. They have automatic volume adjustment. They have a customizable EQ in the app. So let me just show you a quick rundown of the app. You can choose the sound mode, of course, ANC, hear through or off. You have Dolby spatial sound. Like I said, you could track your head. You've got the equalizer, you've got some presets down there, and you have soundscapes, which is kind of cool. Jabra gives you a lot of different ones. In case you want to sleep with these or you just want to like block out sound but not listen to music, maybe while you focus or work or something like that. And if we go over to the top, you have a settings thing there where you can update the firmware, you can personalize your headset by customizing the controls, for example. And if you tap on my controls for media, like you really go down this rabbit hole to customize these. So you can single, double, or triple press either of the buttons and customize exactly what that is going to do. And they have quite a few options you can choose from. So it's nice you can do a full customization strange that you only have, like, you don't have a touch and hold. Oh, and we have a Spotify tap feature as well to quickly launch Spotify and start playing from a playlist without ever taking your phone out of your backpack, for example. You do have those classic different modes that we could see as with always on Jabra's app, and they have a lot of the staples like Google Fast Pair, Windows Swift Pair, so you can connect very easily to any of those devices, but they're also compatible with smart TVs and iPhones and whatever else you want to use out there. These are selling for $249, which sounds like a high price, and I agree that that's a lot of money, but at the same time, for what you're getting, I would say that's really competitive for a pair of premium earbuds. Considering these check a lot of other boxes out there, I'm pretty excited to compare these to the best of the best. And I'm gonna actually make that video. I'm working on it right now. I promise it'll come really soon. And if you wanna see that, definitely subscribe. But I'll compare these to like the Bose and the Sonys and AirPods and every other premium pair out there. Leave a comment if you have any requests for that video. But I'm pretty stoked to have that one coming out. I think these are gonna be a really strong competitor despite being way less expensive than most of those.